Alrighty, for this next section here, we've stuck the little blocks inside there to plug up those holes. So we're going to have to cut off the slider now off the bottom of this front piece. Okay, so that's the front. So when we cut that off, we will be shrinking the size of this by the thickness of the saw blade, because that saw blade is going to cut through it, and suddenly there'll be 3 millimeters less timber than what there was to start with. So I'll probably just do that to start with. So we're going to set the saw fence to 24 millimeters, because each of these is 6 mils wide. So we've got 6, 12, 18, 24 mils. Now you'll find that the 24 mil saw blade will overlap onto that next little joint there. It won't be exactly in line with the corner. It'll be half on the cross grain and half on the other piece with the grain. So if we set this to 24 exactly and cut this through, I'll just bring that back so you can see that's in line with where my pencil marks were, and it's kind of half. It should have shrunk that bit of cross grain down to 6 as well. So it should be 6, 6, 6 and 6, because it used to be 7.5, but now it's 6, and so now we've got 24 mils there. So because we've just taken 3 mils out of that piece, this piece is now 3 millimeters shorter than what these other pieces are. So we've got to basically take the bottom. The reason why I said earlier in the video we marked it out, that bottom line there is 3 mils as well, which has to come off of the bottom. Now we've got to do a bit of maths here in this case, because we don't want to set the blade to 0, you know, because otherwise it's going to be touching the fence and leave marks on the fence. So what we've got to do is, you know, because if we put the fence up against this side and the blade right against that side, the blade is going to end up touching the fence, which is not good for it. So we've got to flip it around, have the fence on this side and the blade out there. So what we need to set this to is whatever the width of this is, minus 3 is what we set the fence to. So the width of mine, yours will be different than this. Mine is 72. Okay, so what you'll need to do is set it to 69. Set the fence to 69. Now in yours it'll be different, so don't go by the fact that mine is 69. You've got to just get the width of the timber, subtract 3, and that leaves you with what's remaining there. So as I cut, you can actually do this with them together like that. If you've got them so they kind of join and hold together, there's no reason why you wouldn't saw all 3 just connected together like this. So I'll just cut a bit and show you. So on mine, there's a whisker of a bit of timber there. I guess it's not a big deal. Well, really, it actually should be. So it should be a bit lower. Now, I've already cut that, so I probably should have checked it beforehand by, well, I wonder how accurate my measurement was. 70, it's actually 72.5, that's probably why. But I guess what we probably could do to set this is, before cutting even, is just line up the outside of the blade with the outside of your timber. That's probably would have been a better way to go, is to just bring the blade down there and just look along the edge of your timber and line up the blade with the timber. See, if I do that, now I'm pretty much perfectly on there, maybe a 1/4 mil dip out. Okay, so it's going to have left a tiny little nick in the bottom of mine there, so I probably should have thought about that first, but I might just sand that later and it'll be alright. Actually, because I've started, I'm going to keep going like that, but what you should do is what I said in the second case there, which is line up the left-hand edge of the blade with the left-hand edge of your timber. So I'm going to stick with my 69 that I had before, just so I've got a flat edge. Okay, so now you should find that the height of your front 2 pieces joined together is the same as the height of your back 3 pieces. And as I mentioned, I just had mine, I had to shave an extra millimetre off there. It was about 1/2 mil extra. So I'm just going to trim the very bottom of my project by about a 1/4 mil as well, and hopefully that'll line up. Sometimes if you make, you know, little bodgy decisions here or there, you can just correct it if you think carefully through about it. And if you're not quite sure, just ask me. Okay, so next step is going to be gluing this box together. So we'll do that in the next video.